While we learn about the opposition on the pitch, Wiser learns how to heat my home.
Rob, let's just reflect quickly on Munster last weekend. Disappointing to bow out of Europe, and what are your thoughts now, 2 days on?
Oh, I'm still disappointed. I'm not going to hide away from the fact I thought it was one of our more disappointing late season performances in Europe. It's weird. I talk to the boys and I kind of think, what kind of changed? I said, because our fight in the contact area, our line speed, some of our collision quality, some of our clear out quality. I said, how did it drop off? And it's funny because I kind of thought they would say something like, at the start of the game it felt a bit flat, whatever. But they all said, it felt really good at the start of the game. And the thing they questioned themselves over is whether they drew a breath and went, this is okay. Because we'd had a couple of good attacks, got turned over. We scored the first try. It looks like we can really get on with things. We've got a yellow card in our favour. And I think they're a little perplexed at how they didn't put their foot down and get on with things a bit better than they did as well. And that's very much the feedback I've had. For me, I just reaffirm with them, this real focus on the nuts and bolts of our game. We just can't run away from it, and we've reaffirmed that all through the week. It's just going to be the message we just keep driving through now. It'll be the message we drive through pre-season. We just got to get on with the hard work. Stop looking for things that aren't there and get the stuff done that needs to be done. And most of it's pretty simple. It's the quality of how you carry the ball, it's the quality of your pass, the quality of your catch, quality of your communication, being where you need to be, getting on with it quickly, and then repeating it. And not questioning it and not doubting it. And we're going to very much drive that, because that is us at our best. Every team should look a little bit like a well-oiled machine, like a where everyone knows their part in it. And that doesn't mean you can't have flair players and they can't make their breaks and do the things. But your system work creates that for them. It creates those opportunities. And we kind of had our moments. We had our line breaks, didn't we? But a line break was often followed by a mistake or someone not getting to a clear out or not. So the actual nuts and bolts of our game let us down. The flair bits and the breaks and the things that needed to happen were happening. But then the nuts of our bolts kind of kept breaking down in between. And that's the kind of thing we've got to really focus on. And that's the stuff we've got to really focus on against Saracens.
And obviously it leads you now into Saracens, where you know what you've got. Every focus is on the Premiership now. You've got 3 huge fixtures. You've got to go after it now. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know which team's going to turn up, and maybe that makes it exciting, and maybe it makes it challenging, because I do think this is one of those seasons where, from a coaching perspective, you can say a lot, and you can say a lot of the things that are probably pretty obvious to everybody about where things aren't quite right and where things are good, but actually, what things really need is that you need to have, a group of say 23 guys when they're selected. By the time they get to like we are today, the last training day, they kind of look at each other on the pitch in that last training session, and they start making decisions that they know exactly how they're going to do this. They know exactly what they're committing to. They're going to be the person who is fulfilling their job absolutely flat out, and you get a feeling like that some days, and it's kind of irresistible. And we've had them before. We've had them very consistently through a lot of seasons. Okay, so. That's if anyone's saying why we're having a blitz, probably just that. We're probably just not quite that 100% on the same page all the same time through the whole week. And that's not any deliberate action by anybody. That's just what will happen in the natural cycle of some success and some looking for more and looking for different things. So, any side that wants to progress or change or develop, you'll have a foundation and you want to try and move on, but you don't always move on together. You don't always move on in the right direction. And probably what we found this season is that we've not quite moved on together and not quite moved on in the same direction. And that's obviously a massive part of my job, is to try and keep that aligned and keep that back in focus. We have it some weeks. At the end of the day, we're still 4th in the Premiership. It's not like it's never there. We still got to the round of 16 in Europe, so it's like it's never there. We win the home leg, so it's there. We just got to keep driving it and keep driving it and keep driving it. And I'm still a believer that men can turn up and do incredible things, and this could still be some incredible things for us this season.
You got familiar foes in Saracens, though. You know what's coming. As you said in the media today, they just get on with it. They know how to, probably better than anyone, go about a job.
One thing that you've got to really take your hat off to them is that how consistent they are at being Saracens and how hard they work at being Saracens, and it's very difficult to watch them and go, oh, I can see a bit of a weakness coming here because they're starting to not quite go flat out at being themselves. And that's what always has made them a great challenge, and what will always hold them in good stead if they can maintain it. That's the challenge, is maintaining that. Maintaining the hard work in how you play is the challenge, and doing it in training and doing it every week on a Saturday or Sunday, and they do it exceptionally well. So we will have to turn up and be prepared to do exactly the same if we want to get anything out of the game.
How have you seen them change slightly, maybe that year out in the Championship? Are they still the same Saracens? A lot of their squad remain the same.
Yeah, again, I think it's very similar. The most important thing is that the nuts and bolts of their game are there. Strong defensively, work hard in kick chase, work hard at set piece, challenge you at breakdowns, challenge you in lots of little different pressure ways. You rarely get anything that's not under some kind of a pressure. And that's the way it should be. That's the way top level sides should operate. And yes, they've probably. I think compared to some seasons, they probably don't look as dominant as they have before, but they're still in the top two of the Premiership. And that takes a lot of doing. And it's a weird one for us. There's a real feeling, I think, that in the team after games where we haven't performed, of real frustration, which obviously is good. But as a couple of players said, in the huddle after months ago, can't just keep saying it. Sometimes you've got to really act on it. And I kind of feel that we're at a little bit of a cusp on whether we really act on it and we really drive it, or whether the season kind of could fizzle out a little bit. And as I said, that's our drive and our desire is obviously massively to not let that happen. That's what makes this weekend such an interesting game.